Hello, hello. It is your boy Brandon from Audio Addiction. Thank you for joining. Most times I feel like people watch the stuff for K-pop, so if you are coming from that land, thank you. This is not going to be K-pop, but either way, thank you for joining me. Going to be doing a lot of metal albums that I have been missing out on, checking out. So I'm going to be going through Like Moths To Flames' newest album, The Cycles of Trying to Cope. And then I'll also be doing Imminence the Black, North Lane's Mirror's Edge, which I believe is an EP, and then Galleon's newest album, which I can't remember the name of the album off the top of my head, but you should come hang out for that one because a YouTube recommended comment told me to check that one out. So gonna be doing that one, and then as well as that, maybe some more music. I don't know, but those are at least the ones that I'll be doing for tonight. So if you do happen to watch any of these, I'm going to try to do more Twitch streams in regards to more album reviews, stuff like that. So if you want to come hang out for any of these, would be really sick. Would love to see you in chat. And your chat comment will show up on the side. So very, very fun. But tonight, we were actually supposed to do this last week, but it got really late and your boy's getting old. So gonna try to do at least 4 albums tonight, which is a lot, but we're gonna do it. So I'm pretty excited. This first one we were supposed to do last week, which was Like Moths To Flames' newest album, The Cycles of Trying to Cope. So excited to get into this one. It's been a little bit of a long time coming here. I also don't know why Windows is telling me this now, but hey, whatever, you didn't see it, so it's all good. But yeah, very excited to jump into this one. And then if you have any other album suggestions, maybe we'll try to get to them a little bit later on in stream. But wanted to get into the first track, which is Angels Weep. I have not listened to this album at all, so I'm excited to get into this new release. So if you like it, go support the Like Moths To Flames guys. I know they've been doing it for quite a bit, so you can help them out. That'd be awesome. But yeah, let's get into Angels Weep right now. I like this intro. Ooh, okay. Nice building. Is that a little off time? Okay. Little blast beat section. Okay. Nice. All right. I like the layered vocals. All right, let's go. What's going on, Kyle? I like this really bendy riff. Oh, there's not gonna be more. I thought they were gonna hit me with a stupid breakdown at the end. Surprising, huh? All right. Well, if you're just joining us, this is Like Moths To Flames' newest album, The Cycles of Trying to Cope. If you can go pick it up, go support the boys. Be really sick. I have not listened to Like Moths To Flames in quite a minute, and that's not to discount them in any way. I think they are really talented musicians. I've seen them multiple times, probably more than multiple times at this point, but I've seen them a lot, and I was a little upset because I feel like this album came out, I believe, the same week that Knock Loose released their album, and unfortunately I feel like they are always that band that I feel like flies under a lot of people's radar, so I wanted to check this one out. I know it was a whole week later than when the album came out, but still wanted to give it some love. But I like this. This was very interesting. I did kind of enjoy that sort of like prolonged intro, really kind of like ominous, dark, which if this is any indicator on the emotions of this album, I feel like it's probably going to be a good starting off point, which I'm really excited about. As well as that, I think Chris does a lot of different like vocal techniques in this one, which I've appreciated. I feel like he has always grown as not only a screamer but also as a singer, so I would be curious to see if there's some clean singing going on in this album. I'd imagine there would be, if it's any indicator of their last album. I know Chris did a good amount of clean singing as well, so would not be surprised if that continues on. But this song is primarily all screaming, which is really interesting to me because I feel like they haven't done a song, at least from my perspective, they have not done a song with just all screaming. So that was cool. Also appreciate the way that they layered out his screaming. I think he also has this really kind of great like high like fry scream going on at the top, and then obviously kind of mixing in some like mids to lows. Really nice. I will say the mix is a little weird, and I don't know if maybe it's just on Spotify, but it does kind of feel a little empty. And I don't know if that's any discount on what they're doing. Maybe it might just be this song specifically, but it does feel like it kind of lacks a little bit of a punch, because like I don't feel like there's really any. I mean, there's definitely bass in the song, but it doesn't feel like it has kind of a good like punch, which is what I was kind of expecting and hoping for. Again, this is the first song on the album, so I feel like I gotta give the rest of the album a more of a tried and true listen. But I felt like for this song, especially being as heavy as it is, I was expecting kind of a little bit more like punch to the mix. So that was a little bit surprising to me. But other than that, really interesting song. A lot of blast beat sections, which is always really fun to hear. I think they broke up the rhythm portion of the song really interestingly as well. Definitely kind of good moments of like aggressiveness, but also kind of allowing space to have a little bit more of those interesting like guitar riffs, a lot of bending, a lot of really unique guitar work. So definitely like that a ton. But overall, I am curious what the rest of the album's going to sound like. I do feel like, again, this one is amongst the highest songs that have been played on this album. I believe, yeah. It looks to be one of the highest ones, only behind Paradigm Trigger, and it looks like Kintsugi is the highest streamed song so far. So, curious to see what the rest of this album is going to bring, but we will move on to the next one, which is Paradigm Trigger. So let's see what's good with this one. Ooh, okay. I like this section. Screams and cleans layered in. Nice. Ooh, okay. Ooh. Interesting. Unique transition. Oh. Ooh, I like that pick slide. There we go. Ooh, let's go. I like that. That was sick. Nice little breakdown section. We like it. All right, that was track 2, Paradigm Trigger. I like this one much better. I think the way that they incorporated, I was a little shocked. The way that they incorporated the clean singing was very interesting. I think that's kind of the thing that stood out the most to me was, especially in that, like, I guess it's like a pre-chorus section where Chris is kind of doing some clean singing and then also screaming. The way they layered it out was really unique, especially having Chris's clean singing more set back, and then obviously having the screams be the like the main focal point to the track. So I definitely appreciate that. I think they only did one chorus, which is also very interesting because they only had Chris do like clean singing for like that for one bit, and then obviously the most of the other song was just screaming. So very interesting on that aspect of things. But yeah, this one I think kind of similarly to Angels Weep, very like a lot of really interesting like instrumentation choices that I think make the song really fun, and at least it keeps your interest throughout the entirety of it. I don't think the rhythms kind of there is definitely some sort of like focal point that everything kind of lands on, but at the same point, I think there's a lot of cool like movement around the kit as well. A lot of, again, blast beat sections, interesting drum patterns, which I think really kind of is more of a interesting pinpoint on what Like Moths to Flames does as of currently. I think as opposed to maybe some of their albums in prior years. So definitely like that a lot. As well as that, I think the guitar parts again were really cool. A lot of my main focal point is going to be on guitar work because that's something that I typically latch onto first, and then I get into like the vocals, the bass work, the drumming, all that sort of stuff towards a little bit of the latter end of the track. Just because I think, again, that's where my ears kind of go to. But as well as that, I just thought this song was pretty solid. So far, it's been an interesting album. I think that I don't know what songs were singles. I would assume that Kitsuge, Paradigm Trigger, and Angels Weep were probably the singles if I had to guess, just based off of streaming metrics. And then the other songs are just kind of releases as obviously on the album. So that would be my surprise. And at least for these two songs, they do have a similar like coexistence with each other, where I wouldn't be surprised that if these were the two singles that they would release them kind of code together. I don't know what word I was trying to think of, but I just put co and together, even though I know they're probably the same thing. But it makes sense if these were the two singles and they put them together, because they do have a sort of familiarity to them. And in terms of like styling and stuff, pretty similar. So I'm interested into getting into Kintsugi, just because I want to see how they mash up in terms of that. But I think some of the songs that we have not heard yet, or at least I have not heard, I'm excited to get into, because I think I would imagine they might kind of take a different musical route. So we'll see what's up. We are going to move it on to Over the Garden Wall, which is the next song in the album. So let's give it a listen. Oh, okay. Fab, what type of music are they? Okay. I like that riff. Ooh, okay. Nice little like tapping lead. Ooh. I like that down tremolo riff. I do love this chorus. This is tight. Nice little double bass section. All right. Yeah, this was the best one so far, I think, without a doubt. All right, if you're just tuning in, this was track 3, Over the Garden Wall, from Like Moths To Flames, The Cycles of Trying to Cope. If you can, well, you can't see. There you go. Cycles of Trying to Cope. Go pick it up if you feel so inclined to. You should definitely do it if you like Moths To Flames. Be really sick. This song, I think, stood out to me way more than the previous 2 songs. I think the guitar riff was super sick. I love a lot of the like tremolo guitar picking going on. That's really fun, especially like that kind of like descending guitar riff was super tight. I will say that first chorus kind of took me off guard, but the time they got into the second chorus with Chris singing, it was a hit. I definitely feel like the transition maybe from that first chorus, like that pre-chorus to first chorus, might have been a little bit odd, but I appreciate it. I will say again, that lead in from the second verse just directly into the second chorus was, I think, a better move. The breakdown in the song also really sick. But as well as that, the way the layered screaming going on so far has been really sick to hear. I think again, Chris has quite a screaming range, as well as his vocal tone is always something that I've really loved as well, and I'm also glad that Kyle agrees. I've always really appreciated Chris throughout his entirety of his musical career. If you have not known, he was in a band called A Graceful, and then even prior to that, he was in the first Emarosa album before they moved on and did something else. So really cool. I think he's always been really a talented vocalist, in my opinion, so it's cool to hear him again express his vocal tones a little bit more. I felt like with the first couple like Moths To Flames records, it didn't seem like he really wanted to do a lot more clean singing and just do the screams, but I feel like everything after Dark Divine, he has done a lot more clean singing, so I love that. Again, his tone to me has always been really something I've definitely loved, so big salutes to Chris. But as well as that, yeah, that chorus, massive. I love that. But yeah, overall, I think this one just kind of hit on a better scale. I think also just because of that, I think it was also arranged a lot better. It seemed a lot more fluid. The song seemed a little bit more it seemed a little bit more methodical, and I felt like maybe with Angel Weep and Paradigm Trigger, I felt like those, not to say that they are certainly bad songs, but this one just feels so dialed in, where you get a really cool breakdown, you get these really cool kind of like, again, a lot of this really interesting, more technical guitar work, which I had never seen really like Moths To Flames to kind of do something like this a little bit. So it's really cool to hear them do a little bit more of a technical take on metalcore now, because I feel like they always go for those like really like sing along, grandiose sort of choruses in their previous album, Eternity in Gold, I believe was the album title name. But I felt like they did a lot more like they try to focus more so on like the memorability of choruses and doing that sort of stuff, where I felt like maybe they were lacking that sort of technical aspect, and this song seems a lot more technical and something that I'd be curious to see if they throw this into their set live, just because it has a little bit more of a punch to it. So I would love to see this one live. I don't know if they will, but if they do wind up touring on this album, it'd be a really cool one to see live, I would argue. So, but yeah, overall, this is a 10 out of 10 for me. I love this one. Definitely going to be one of my favorite songs probably off this album for sure. But yeah, love the technicality. Love Chris's cleans. And I hope we get just a little more. I don't expect them to do a full album with just entirely clean singing, but I do like when they kind of mix both ends of the scale. So very curious to see what's going to be happening next. So the next one is track 4. This is Gone Without a Trace. Again, this is one of the new songs off the album. So very excited to get into this one. So see what's up. Okay. Oh. Oh, this is great. Okay, okay. Interesting choice. Ooh, okay. Nice little straight beat section. Okay. I like the way they stylized the vocals in this second verse. Oh, okay, getting into the bridge section. This is all clean so far. Holy shit. I like that little like drum roll kind of paradiddle thing. I was surprised by this one. Interesting. All right, that was track 4, Gone Without a Trace, if you're just tuning in. Interesting. This was all clean singing, which is very surprising to have a song like this on this album. I did see I didn't get spoiled by the album by any stretch, but I did see shout outs to the metalcore collectors community over on Facebook. They had talked about this album, and I did see that a lot of people were surprised that there was a lot of clean singing. So far it's been interesting. The first song did not have any singing on it. The second song I think had like maybe a smidge. Over the Garden Wall is kind of like a good 50-50, and Gone Without a Trace so far or not so far, was mostly, if not entirely, clean singing, with maybe like a little, with obviously some vocal rasp, which is really nice, and I think it kind of, again, differentiates it from just being kind of like more of a clean song. But I will say I like this one a lot. This was also really great. I think obviously Over the Garden Wall is probably my favorite currently, but this is probably a pretty close second. I was really kind of surprised at how much of a range that Chris has. I would assume he has kind of improved his vocal prowess over the years. But I feel like this song specifically kind of tests his vocal skills and abilities. He does like a lot of cool like power like vocal notes, which I really like, especially in those choruses. I feel like he really full sends those, so definitely appreciate that. But in the verses was interesting because you get more of a like softer somber tone from Chris, which I don't feel like you get too often. And again, I know I mentioned it before, but it kind of reminds me a lot of like when his days in a Graceful and having the stuff where he's a little bit more he's a little bit more softer with his vocal tone, and like the way he cleans up his vocals is really interesting to me. But is able to deliver so much more emotion in some of the softer moments than I feel like when he kind of allows his voice to kind of get that like gravelly sort of like vocal tone, which again I love that too. But this, he was doing like a little bit more like falsetto work, and a lot of more like high like soft singing, which again I haven't heard in quite a bit from him, so it was a really nice pleasant surprise as someone who's kind of followed Chris's journey throughout the entirety of not only like Moths To Flames but prior projects as well. So I definitely appreciate that a ton, as well as that first guitar riff, like that bendy sort of like guitar riff, was so much fun. As well as that, I think kind of the verses remind me a lot of like the more melodic sections of like Invent Animate, which is a total compliment because I love that band too. But really kind of love the sort of melodicness of the verses and the like more softer tones to it, and then having those big choruses. The only thing that I have a little bit of a gripe with in terms of this song was the transition from those softer, somber moments into the big, large chorus. I think the transition between the two is a little rough. But I'd be curious to see how they would kind of translate that, because I don't know if there would have been a way for them to translate that in a little bit of a better way. I think if anything, maybe there could have been like a cool kind of build section in that pre-chorus and then full send it in the choruses. That's the only thing I could probably think of in terms of maybe critique about the song. But overall, great track. Again, really cool range from Chris. I would probably say that's, to me at least, the more standout portion of this song. But yeah, this one's going to be memorable. I think these, again, track 3 and 4 to me so far have been the most memorable so far. So definitely enjoy this one a lot, and for good reason. Shows off a lot of talent and skill, which your boy loves to see. So we are going to move it on to the next one, which is Disassociative Being. So let's get into that one. And about halfway through the album. Interesting. Ooh. Oh, that like Digitech whammy. Oh. Yo, this riff pop. Ooh. This like call and response section is so tight. Hello, what's going on? What would we be listening to? Megan, hello. What's going on? This one's tight. I love this one so far. This chorus is so big. All right, if you're just tuning in, that was Disassociative Being. Go check it out. This is off of the Cycles of Trying to Cope from Like Moths To Flames, if you are just tuning in. Man, this is a ripper of a track. I like, man, these three, this string of three, Over the Garden Wall, Gone Without a Trace, and Disassociative Being, hitting. I don't know, Megan, if you know which songs on here were the singles. I'm curious to hear which ones they were. I guess that it was Angels Weep, Paradigm Trigger, and Kitsugi. I don't know if I'm correct on that, but let me know. Overall, this track was fantastic. I loved that really cool kind of like chunky, fast, really kind of rhythmic guitar riff, and then you throw on a good Digitech whammy bar on there, and you know I'm gonna love it. So definitely about that. But I also love the like call and response in the chorus, or not chorus, in the, I guess it was the verses. The way that Chris kind of does the clean singing, then has a scream part, then has clean singing, then has a scream part. It just keeps it really interesting and motivates the song to kind of continue on further. So I definitely love that. I agree with my boy Kyle. Main riff, fucking perfect. Agree. Big facts. But I will say this chorus is also really great. I love the kind of like more like tremolo, I guess not tremolo, but like that real kind of OG classic kind of metalcore like lead lines in the back, having that kind of, again, that solid like rhythm structure from the drumming. Love that, and I think it holds the songs so much together, which of course drummers do. But on top of that, just having Chris do these like really monstrous clean sections, really great. I love the kind of aggressive force that he has in terms of his clean vocals. Really, to me, unmatched, I think, in amongst a lot of metalcore groups. I probably might get a little bit of hate for that, but don't really care. I do feel like Chris kind of brings a unique vocal tone and prowess to what he does. And he's been doing it for a long damn time, so I gotta give him the props for it. But I think, to me, he's always been able to find that line between driving that emotiveness that I expect from a really strong chorus, and just kind of delivering on that with his like vocal grit and the way that he kind of just pushes out his vocals. Like, he knows how to do it and does it well, and I can not say anything better to kind of describe his skills. I think if anything, his clean singing, I would argue, has gotten much better, and I think this is a pretty good indicator of his skills as a vocalist. As well as that, his screaming was also great. I don't want to discount that in any sort of way. He had some really cool, like, high fry screaming going on in this track, but also, again, those crushing kind of mids and lows that he does really well. I think this song does him not only a justice, but I think the whole band. I think as well as that, vocally really driving, but I think equally as driving as is the instrumentation. I think if I had to kind of rank my songs and how they're at, I think Disassociative Being is probably number one, also tied with Over the Garden Wall, and then I put Gone Without a Trace as like the second or third pick, however you want to describe it. That will probably be currently my favorites as of right now, but we still got some more, so excited to get into it as well. And we have some more albums. If you are just tuning in, this is the first album I'm starting with, and then we're going to Imminence, which, if you have not checked them out, stick around. Gonna be a great. I just saw them on Thursday, so excited to check out their new album because I have not listened to it, but I did see them live on Thursday, so I want to give them some love. And then New North Lane, which I also haven't checked out yet either, and Galleons, which was a YouTube recommendation and one of my previous metalcore albums. So very, very cool. Megan, hopefully this will be a good reason to catch up. I've also been behind on metal albums, so I think this is a good stream to catch up on, I would argue. So the next one we're going to be doing is The Shepherd's Crown, which is track 6. We're about a little over halfway, I think, between this album. So let's get into it. Also, I'm going to shut my door, so I leave. Oh my God. I get up for 1 second. Also, good luck on your finals. Oh, we're going to get a beefy breakdown section? Oh, a little build? Okay, okay. Interesting setup. More Digitech whammy, you know, love it. Ooh, okay. Oh my God, that ending. Oh, that was so sick. All right. That was The Shepherd's Crown from Like Moths To Flames off their new album, The Cycles of Trying to Cope. If you have just tuned in here on Twitch, if not, this will also be up on YouTube, so you can watch it there. But, man, this one's heavy. Very similarly to Angels Weep, but I think a little bit more aggressive, which I'm definitely about. Love the, again, Digitech Whammy. I'm gonna keep talking about that shit until I die, but I love that. It's one of the one of my favorite guitar effects. So I always gotta bring it up anytime I see it or hear it in a video. So gotta give it a shout outs to that. But this song, very very conversely to like Over the Garden Wall, which I think was mostly no, Gone Without a Trace was mostly clean singing. I was gonna eat my words there. Gone Without a Trace was all singing, and this is all screaming, very similarly to Angels Weep. But I think this was executed in such a fun way. I love the like bendy guitar riffs, and I feel like this one is I would throw this on. I'd throw this on a playlist with all my favorite bendy guitar riffs. Definitely love that. As well as that, the instrumentation was fun, really aggressive, things that I would expect from like Moths to Flames. So I'm glad that they are delivering on a song like this. But as well as that, Chris sounds great. His screaming in this track sounds so much more like pissed off than I feel like some of the other songs that we've heard tonight. And I love that because I feel like he's getting out all of those anger and all of those strong emotions, and you could definitely hear it in a song like this. But I also think the way that they kind of structured out his vocals as well to really kind of add to that dimension, especially in this last like breakdown section of the song, you can hear kind of like the differentiation between the screaming, and I love that. So hopefully we'll get more of that on this album. But yeah, I thought this was great. If you love a really aggressive, heavy song and you've been missing out on some like really stupid stuff, then this is probably well up your alley. So definitely go check it out if you have not shown it some love yet. But yeah, if you're looking for a heavy song, I think you could look no further to this one. This one's a really great one. But very cool. Megan says, the Plot in You dropped an EP recently too. I have not listened to any of the Plot in You singles, so maybe we'll throw that on after Galleons, most likely. So we'll see how the night goes. But the next song on this album is To Know Is To Die. So let's get into this one. It sounds like a heavy one, if I had to guess. But I could be wrong. Okay, we might be right. Ooh. Ooh, all right. Little blast beat section. All right. This feels like a very Circle Pit moment. Woo! Little pinch harmonics. Ooh, okay. The transition in this chorus was tight. Let's go. That pre-chorus transition to the chorus is so sick. Oh, interesting. I thought they were going to give me a little bit more. I should have looked at the timestamp here. But if you're just tuning in, this is track 7 off of Like Moths To Flames' newest album, The Cycles of Trying to Cope. You can go pick it up. Go show them some love. I know this one already came out a while ago, so if you can go purchase it, that'd be really, really tight. This was a great track. I was very surprised at how this one was going to go. Even though I feel like I kind of guessed it with it being kind of a heavier song that feels like it fits the motif very well. I love that pre-chorus chorus transition, as I've been dying on this hill for like the past 3 minutes saying, but I do love it. The way that they kind of put it together was just so really, it's just so fun. Like, I think that's the best way I could describe it in words. Is just like the transition from like that kind of cool like double bass section into like that massive chorus. Really, really nice. A lot of the similar comments that I've made about a lot of the other songs on this album, I think this one is maximalized in the best way possible. I think the layered screaming works out really well on this track. Getting to hear kind of the different tonal structures that Chris brings. I think this song does a really great job of highlighting that. As well as that kind of, again, that really fun guitar riff in the verses is always something I'm going to be remembering. There's a lot of good, memorable guitar riffs on this album so far, so it's been a blast. But yeah, I really enjoyed that a lot. As well as that, again, the clean singing in the chorus was really tight, but I think the screaming in this song really kind of takes the cake. And the way that they kind of like stylize Chris's vocals in the, I think he says "To Know Is To Die," which is the title of the song. Just the way they kind of like digitalized his vocals was really interesting. Nice vocal effect. But yeah, this one was another heavy one. Another really fun track. I'm surprised this one, very similarly to Shepherd's Crown, is not like higher up in terms of the play count, in terms of their Spotify. That seems a little surprising to me. I would expect this one to be a little bit higher. So very interesting. But we are going to move on to the next one, which is Kitsugi. I don't know. This one was confirmed as being one of the singles, and I have not listened to any of these singles. So we are going to get into one of the singles on the album, and also to track number 8. So let's give it a listen. I like that guitar riff in the back. This chorus is great. Ooh. Nice.
When it breaks, what breaks the mold? The day starts to bleed the same. I can barely hold on to anyone or anything. When it always breaks, what breaks the mold? The day starts to bleed the same. I can barely hold on to anyone or anything. When it always breaks.
That ending was great. All right, cool. That was Kintsugi. If you're just tuning in, this was off of Like Moths To Flames' newest album, The Cycles of Trying to Cope. So go check it out. Gunky, thank you for joining. I know you typically join us for the K-pop stuff, so appreciate you coming to hang out. Screaming is why I don't tip it. That's fair. I'm again very shocked you're in here, so I appreciate you hanging out. I love this song. This is great. I will say Chris is such a accomplished vocalist, and I feel like again I'm gonna keep beating a dead horse on this one, but this one I felt like he did a great job of kind of riding that line between like really nice aggressive kind of singing, and also obviously some screaming as well. But he's got a unique vocal tone that I always feel like translates super well into his music, especially with the projects he's done. But I definitely appreciate this one a lot more. And given the fact that I believe Angel, again, getting confirmation that I believe the singles for this album were Angels Weep, Paradigm Trigger, and then Kintsugi being the singles, I don't feel like it. I always find that the way that they choose singles is always interesting to me because I don't find this song to be. I find this song to kind of fit a lot of the boxes of what I feel like this album has kind of delivered so far, having a little bit more aggressive tones to it. But I do think the singles kind of are a little bit off, like especially Angels Weep being like a mostly entirely screaming song. There obviously are songs that do have it, but I feel like Kintsugi, just looking back on it, I think does the best job of filling those gaps a little bit more in terms of having a lot more clean singing, but also not completely being divergent and not having any screaming. This song kind of delivers on both fronts, I would argue. So far, I feel like that one's probably my favorite of the singles that had been released at the time, but obviously I have more favorites off this album that weren't the singles, which is not surprising because I think they always try to find the songs that are a little bit more palatable or songs that kind of show off the range a little bit more, so I could understand them choosing this one. And I think this one's a great choice. Again, Chris sounds phenomenal on this. The instrumentation was also really sick too, especially in that chorus. I love that like lead section, really, really tight. I like that it's set back and it's not like more at the focal point of the song. It just adds a nice kind of like textural element to that chorus. So I love that a ton. But yeah, verses really nice. I think they were a little bit more melodic in nature, which is always a good bit. But as well as that, not kind of lacking on the sort of metallic sort of metalcore riffs that you come to know and love from Like Moths To Flames. So definitely a great track if you are kind of on the fence on this album. I think this one does a pretty good job of kind of delving out what I feel like you would expect from this album, and maybe a little bit more in that clean aspect of things, but I think you get a good balance between the other singles and at least understanding or having an idea of what the types of sounds that will be on this album. So if you have not listened to it, would recommend listening to singles first and then trying to see if whether or not this is for you or not. But I thought this one was probably my favorite of the three singles. So definitely enjoyed that. Gunky says, I like every genre of music. Well, hopefully you might enjoy some of these other groups. I don't know. We'll find out. Megan says, there are definitely bands and songs where instrumentations are heavier or there's heavy sections here and there, but vocals aren't as heavy. I would agree, but I think for at least what this album has done so far, it's been a good mix of having those like really powerful choruses, and I think that they've always done a really great job of kind of putting those choruses together. I think this song has a really fantastic strong chorus that utilizes more of Chris's kind of aggressive, more like, I want to keep saying gravelly, but like the way that he kind of has this sort of rasp to his vocal tone, I think it really kind of kicks in with a song like this. So I think it does a really great job of representing him as a vocalist. So love this chorus. I think this is a really solid song. I would probably put this as like mid to high tier in terms of the songs off this album so far. So we are going to move into the last couple tracks, which we are moving on to track number 9, which is Everything That Once Held It Together, which is the next song after Kintsugi. So let's give it a listen. Interesting building. Okay. I like the rhythm change. Ooh. Halftime chorus? Interesting. Oh, this is an interesting section. Ooh. Ooh, okay. The little like chuggy section. All right. Huh. Are you going to transition into that chorus again? Yep. Nice. That bendy, they got those bendy riffs down. I love it. All right, that was Everything That Once Held It Together from Like Moths To Flames. This one was very interesting. I wasn't sure where it was going to go because it kind of starts off a little bit more somber, and I thought for sure we were going to get another song with like some more like softer, clean vocals, which again, I've already stressed I like that, but I think this one does a really great job of keeping the rhythm of the song very interesting. It's got a lot of movement to it, which I always really like. I think sometimes you can get a little stale with some metalcore stuff, and I felt like this one has a nice sort of vibe to it that I think kind of keeps your interest. Really, at least for me, it keeps my interest. I like the more like punchy, aggressive, sort of instrumentation going on in the verses, and then it gets into this really nice like halftime section in the chorus. I just think it allows the song to kind of open up more. It almost feels like the chorus is a lot longer than what it is, but it's not. And I think it just basically just because my brain is getting messed up with like meter a little bit, but I love that. I think that was really interesting. And I was also very curious on how they were going to transition in from like that second verse. There was like kind of a little bit of a pre-chorus section into that chorus. I think that transition was very nice because I thought for sure they were going to hit us with like maybe like two verses, or they're going to kind of switch up the arrangement a little bit more. So I think they kind of, at least from what I could tell, I think it was like just an extended second verse, and then they had like a little bit of a transition in the pre-chorus, but a different pre-chorus, and then had again that main second chorus again. I thought the structure of that was really interesting, and then the way they kind of set up the bridge was also very fun as well. I like that they kind of again used more of Chris's clean tone. I thought that was very interesting and kind of subverted your expectations of what you feel like the song should have went or how it should have gone, just based off of, again, if you've listened to a lot of metalcore or post-hardcore and stuff, then you kind of get that tried and true like verse, pre-chorus, chorus, verse 2, pre-chorus, chorus 2, bridge / breakdown, last final chorus. I think they kind of broke it up a little bit more and made it a little bit different from, I would argue, from the rest of the songs off this album. So I definitely like that a ton. But I appreciated Chris's screams in the song more specifically. There was some really cool kind of divergent between his like lower register scream and obviously the higher stuff that kind of filters over the top. It was really nice. And I know I made a comment about Angels Weep in terms of like the mixing on it. I think the songs have gotten better in terms of like the punch and the overall vibes. So I don't know if maybe it's just a Spotify thing. It could just be that, but to me, it just felt like they were a little off. So maybe I'll have to go and watch the YouTube videos. But I think the mixes so far have been a lot better. So definitely appreciate that. Drumming also was really intense in this song, like some cool blast beat sections, as well as that there was some really cool like movement on the drums as well. I believe the drummer that is drumming for them now, I think, is the drummer of Phineas, which shout outs to them, great metalcore band. So I'm almost positive. If somebody wants to correct me in the comments or in chat, I'm pretty sure I'm correct on it being Phineas's drummer. So really cool stuff. I think this was another really fantastic song, and again, I'm so surprised on like some of these streaming numbers. I mean, this one's close to 100,000 plays, but just a little bit odd. It seems like they all of these songs are in the like, 80,000, 90,000 numbers. So I think this one was one of the better songs off the album. So I'm a little surprised, to say the least. But we are going to move it on to the next one, which is track 10. This is The Depths I Roam. So let's give this one a spin. Got a little bit of the last song. Ooh, nice little piano section. Some Make Them Suffer vibes. Ooh. The double bass goes crazy on this song. What the hell? Little drum roll. Nice. All right. Ooh. Okay. Oh, nice. The minor tones too. Love that. Nice. All right. Interesting. Huh. That's an interesting dropout. Vocal layering in this chorus is tight too. Interesting. Interesting. Huh. Very interesting. This is an interesting song. All right, well, that was track 10, The Depths I Roam from Like Moths To Flames, their new album, The Cycles of Trying to Cope. If you do like it, let them know. But I thought this one was interesting. Very unique, like, structure. I think this one has arguably the most interesting song off this album, and I'm curious what other people think about this one. Just that are in the community, even outside of community. I mean, I'm very curious to. My thoughts on this song are very, very interesting. I think I'll have to give this one another listen because I'm a little bit shell shocked a little bit on this one. I thought the way that they transitioned the songs was very interesting, but. And I love the incorporation of the piano. I think it adds to that, like, a darker tone that I have mentioned throughout this entirety of this record. But this one was so interesting. The way that they arranged it was very, very interesting. I agree with Gunky. I love the way that the piano transitioned into that, like, heavy, aggressive tone that they have kind of, shown us throughout this entirety of this album so far. But the piano really adds to that, again, that emotive aspect of it. But the way that they kind of cut the way that they kind of dropped out in certain parts and then kind of cycled in into like either the chorus or pre-chorus, I thought that was very interesting. I don't know if I really like it or not. I just think it's a very interesting choice, and my first instinct is like, did they just not have a transition and they just thought maybe if we just kind of like have this really like somber thing and just kind of bleed into the next part that like people will be okay with that. I find that to be a little bit odd. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have done it. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do it, but just was a very interesting song choice that I again am very shocked on. But I'm curious to see how it churns out. As well as that, the breakdowns were really cool. I love the chorus in this song specifically. It has a really kind of like anthemic sort of feel to it, especially again with the different layered or stylized screaming parts. I thought those were interesting on top of the clean vocals. I thought that was really unique, really different, and I think it's something that they've brought out in it as well. But yeah, I was surprised. This one was very very unique in terms of the stylization. I probably will have to give this one another listen, but yeah, I'm curious what other people thought about this one. Gunky says I love the slowed parts transitioning to heavy, but wasn't a huge fan of it dropping to the slow part. Yeah, I agree. I think the transitions could have been. I think the transitions could have been done a little bit differently, but I do like the chorus of this song. So I was kind of I kind of feel like I'm a little lukewarm, you know, like there's definitely some parts I enjoyed about this album or this song specifically on the album, but was very shocked at the way that they kind of arranged the choruses, and like it almost feels like there's a lack of pre-chorus. So I don't know. I don't know where they may have went with that one, but very interesting track nonetheless. So we are going to move into the final song off this album, which is what do we see when we leave this place? The final song off this album, and then we'll be transitioning into another album as well. We have a couple albums to churn through tonight, so appreciate you sticking with me here. But let's get into the last one.
The Father said,
Ooh. Okay. Oh my god. Oh. Are they just gonna end it off with an end cap? Oh my god. That double bass work was fucking crazy. Holy shit. Ooh. Another halftime chorus. Okay. Huh. Okay. Those fucking Digitech whammy riffs. A lot of like tremolo guitar picking parts. Bro, what the fuck? These ethereal transitions are interesting. I like it though. There's a lot of vocal stacking going on in this chorus. Oh, yeah. What a way to end that album. Holy shit. All right. Well, this is what do we see when we leave this place? The final song off of the Cycles of Trying to Cope from Like Moths To Flames. If you have not checked them out, go show them some love. Man, this was a great track. I was kind of surprised, especially the way that they started this song off. Agree with Gunky. They start the song off in your face, and they only let up for the choruses. So appreciate that. I think it offers a good end cap to the record. I think it does a really great job of surmising what I feel like you would be going through in its entirety of this album. It has heaviness in terms of the verses. Verses have this really kind of aggressive tone to them. I love a lot of the like more tremolo, fast guitar strings going on in this. Really nice. Their drummer, shout outs, is a monster, and it sounds crazy. So I love that, continuing on with that sort of chaotic energy. Chris not only, again, crushed it in the screaming department, but I also loved his contributions to the chorus. I think he's got a really great kind of like gritty, clean vocal tone in the choruses, and I like that kind of halftime section. It really breaks up the song in a nice way rhythmically. That last chorus was also really sick with like that breakdown section. Really, really tight. And again, I think it surmises this whole album really well. If you like the kind of aggressive sort of stuff, I think you can definitely get bits and pieces from this last song in a good majority of the songs off this album. But I also say chorus-wise, in terms of the clean stuff, there's definitely a good mix of clean vocals throughout this entirety of this album too. So again, I think it does a really great job of wrapping up the types of sounds and feelings you would have on this album, and does it in a really like nice, neat, tight package. So definitely a great song. I will say, at least in terms of the songs off this album, I do think that a lot of the better songs that were on this album were not singles. So I would highly recommend, at least for me personally, the songs that I really loved off this album were this one. What do we see when we leave this place? I think this was great. I also really loved The Shepherd's Crown, really great. Disassociated Beings, probably my number one. And then I think Over the Garden Wall and Gone Without a Trace are probably my other favorite songs. I would say a large majority of this album was really great. I think previously Eternity in Gold, which was the previous album, I thought that was good, but I think this one builds off of what I liked about that album and love about this album. So if you like a little bit more of an aggressive styling, if you like the melodicness of it, especially in terms of the choruses, then I think you'll probably enjoy this record a lot. And if you weren't as much of a fan of the last album, I think you probably will like this one a little bit more, because it definitely pulls a little bit from their previous album past. So definitely great. Let me know what your favorites are down in the comment section below if you do wind up watching this on YouTube. So thank you for watching. If you do, hope to be doing more of these Twitch streams with the heavier stuff. If not, come hang out for the K-pop stuff. That is also great. We have a great time doing that. So if you like both genres, you're eating good here on the channel. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you for another one. Twitch, I'm not leaving you, by the way.